Everybody told me I was crazy. You can't replace a $75,000 employee with a $10 an hour virtual assistant. So I did it anyway. And here's the 3-month report. What's going on, everyone? My name is Joel Lipsky, construction business owner, advocate, and educator. 20 years in this industry, job site to boardroom. I've built companies, led teams, and learned hard lessons the only way you do in construction, through experience. I'm here to give you the real stuff, not theory, not fluff, practical lessons that help you run a better business, not just build a better project. If you're a construction leader ready to operate with clarity instead of chaos, you're in the right place. Like, share, subscribe. Let's get into it. Let's start with the reality of running a construction business. You're growing. Jobs are coming in. The pipeline is building and things are moving. And then you hit a wall, not on the job site, in the office. You can't keep up with the paperwork. Bids are slipping through the cracks. Proposals are going out late or not going out at all. Someone needs to manage the insurance certificates. Someone needs to track the submittals. Someone needs to follow up on the plethora of RFIs that you're getting. And that someone is you, because you don't have the back office support to handle all of it. So what do? You do what every other contractor does. You start thinking about hiring. And the moment you start running those numbers, reality hits you in the face. A quality back office hire in New York, we're talking estimating support, project coordination, bookkeeping support, general admin, you're looking at $75,000 a year minimum. And that's just salary. Stack on that payroll taxes, health benefits, paid time off, office space, equipment, onboarding time. You're realistically looking at $90,000 to $100,000 all in for one person. For a small to mid-sized contractor, that is a serious commitment. That is a number that keeps you up at night before you sign off on it. And here's the part nobody talks about. Even after you make that hire, you still have to manage them, train them, keep them. And if it doesn't work out, you need to do it all over again. This is the cycle. And most contractors just accept it as the cost of doing business. I refuse to accept it. Now, let me be clear about something. I was not some early adapter who jumped on the virtual assistant trend. I was the opposite. I heard about virtual assistants and my gut reaction was absolutely not. Not in my company and definitely not in construction. The industry is too specific, too technical. The work requires real knowledge, takeoffs, specs, submittals, insurance requirements. You can't just hand that off to someone who's never been on a job site. That's what I told myself. And I kept telling myself that for longer than I wanted to admit. I'd get close, I'd start researching, start asking questions, and then I find a reason to pump the brakes. Too risky, too complicated. What if it doesn't work? What if the quality isn't there? But here's the thing about excuses. They don't pay your bills. And the overhead pressure keeps building. The work kept coming in, and I kept doing the math on the $75,000 hire, kept not making sense for where my business was currently at. So finally, I made a decision. I was going to try it, give it a legitimate shot. Not halfway with one foot out the door, a real committed 3-month run. And if it didn't work, fine. I'd have my answer and I would move on. But I know I had to try. The first virtual assistant I brought on was an estimating assistant. I chose estimating first because that's where the pressure was the highest in my business. We had work coming in, opportunities on the table, and not enough bandwidth to chase all of them properly. Missed bids are missed revenue. Simple as that. So I brought on an estimating assistant, and I want to be specific about what that role actually looked like, because this isn't vague concept stuff. This is real work. They handled takeoffs. If you're in construction, you know how time-consuming a proper quantity takeoff is. That alone was eating hours out of my week. They put together bid RFIs, requests for information on active bids, tracking down clarification from architects and owners, so we could submit accurate numbers. They helped draft proposals, formatting, organizing, making sure the right information was in the right place before it went out the door. And they kept track of everything. What bids went out, what was pending, what needed follow-up, what deadlines were coming up. This is a full-time job, and it was being done professionally, consistently, for under $20,000 a year. Let me put that side by side for you. Locally in New York, $75,000 minimum, probably closer to $85,000 or $90,000 all in. Virtual estimating assistant, under $20,000. Same function, same output, $55,000 difference. That's $55,000 that didn't just disappear. It went straight to the bottom line of my company. And I need you to hear this because this is a principle that I run my entire business around. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep at the end of the day. Revenue is vanity, profit is reality. And every dollar you save on overhead without sacrificing output is a dollar that builds your business. So let me walk you through what those 3 months actually looked like, because it wasn't perfect from day one. Month one, the build phase, getting that person oriented, teaching them our systems, our templates, how we communicate with clients and subs. There was a learning curve. I spent time in the first month investing in the relationship, setting expectations, giving feedback, correcting course where I needed to. Was I second guessing myself? Yep, a little bit. Old habits die hard, but I stayed committed. I gave real direction, and I watched them improve week after week. Month two was finding our rhythm. By the middle of month two, I wasn't babysitting anymore. I was delegating, and things were getting done. Bids were going out on time. The proposal tracker was clean. RFIs were being managed. I wasn't the bottleneck anymore. That feeling, when you stop being the bottleneck in your own company, that is something every construction business owner needs to experience. By month three, I wasn't just satisfied, I was sold. The work was getting done. The quality was there. The communication was dialed in, and I had much more bandwidth to focus on business development, client relationships, and running the company instead of drowning in bid prep. 3 months, that's all it took. Here's where the story shifts, because after month three, something clicked in my head that went beyond just this one hire. It wasn't just that it worked. It was what it meant. If I could take one critical back office function, one that I thought absolutely required a local, full-time, in-house hire, and run it virtually, professionally, at a fraction of the cost, then why was I assuming every other role needed to be done the traditional way? That question changed how I think about building a team. I stopped asking, who do I need to hire? And I started asking, what do I need done? And what's the smartest way to get it done? That is a fundamental shift. And it is a shift that most contractors never make because they're too stuck in the way that's always been done. I learned what worked. I documented the process. I refined the model, and I did it again and again. Today, Lipsky Construction has 5 virtual assistants running inside our firm. Let me walk you through each one. Number 1, estimating assistant, where it all started. Takeoffs, bid support, proposal drafting, pipeline tracking. This role is the foundation of our estimating operation. Number 2, assistant project manager, supporting our project management team with document control, RFI logs, submittal tracking, schedule coordination. The paperwork side of project management is relentless. This role keeps it from burying my team. Number 3, bid clerk, dedicated to tracking opportunities, managing bid submissions, maintaining our bid calendar, and making sure nothing falls through the cracks. When you're running multiple bids simultaneously, this role is critical. Number 4, insurance manager, managing subcontractor insurance certificates, tracking expiration dates, following up on non-compliant subs, making sure your project files are clean before work starts on site. That work never stops. Now it has a dedicated person managing it every single day. And number 5, my personal assistant, scheduling, correspondence, organizing my calendar, managing my inbox, keeping me on track so I can stay focused on the highest value activities in my business. Because here's the truth. As the owner, your time is the most expensive resource in the company. Every hour you spend on tasks that someone else can handle is an hour you're not spending on growth. 5 roles running virtually inside a real construction company right now. This model does not work on autopilot. There are things you have to do right or it falls apart. Number 1, define the role before you hire. This is non-negotiable. If you can't document what the job is, you cannot manage the person doing it. Write down the tasks, write down the expectations, write down how success is going to be measured. Number 2, communicate clearly and consistently. These are professionals working remotely. They need direction. They need feedback. They need to know what good looks like in your company. Set up regular check-ins, use project management tools, keep communication tight. Number 3, hold them accountable like any other hire. Don't lower the bar because someone works remotely. If the work isn't right, say something. If the deadline was missed, address it. Accountability doesn't require someone sitting in your office. It requires you to be clear and consistent. Number 4, give it some time. Month 1 is orientation. It's likely going to be a month of pain. Month 2 is a rhythm. Month 3 is the results. Contractors who try this for 3 weeks and quit, they never gave it a real shot. 5 virtual assistant roles: estimating support, project management support, bid management, insurance compliance, executive support, hired locally in New York, conservatively $300,000 to $400,000 a year in salary alone, before overhead, before benefits, before anything else. I am running all 5 for a fraction of that cost. That is not money I'm spending somewhere else. That is money staying inside my business, building my reserves, funding equipment, investing in growth, protecting my margins on every single job. This is why I eventually founded Virtual Construction Assistants. Not because I read about the concept somewhere, because I built this model inside my own company first. I tested it. It worked. I scaled it, and I know other contractors need access to the same thing. If you're sitting where I was, overwhelmed, skeptical, telling yourself this won't work in construction, I get it. I was exactly where you are. But I want to ask yourself one honest question. How much is your overhead actually costing you right now? And is the way you've always done it actually the best way? Because in this industry, the contractors who win big long-term aren't always the best builders. They're the ones running the tightest, most efficient operation. Overhead kills companies. Margins protect them. Get your overhead under control, manage your back office, and everything else will get easier. If this hits home, like the video, share it with a contractor who needs to hear it, and subscribe. I'm Joel Lipsky. See you on the next one.